Welcome to the What Now podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Powers. Follow along as I figure out how to go from feeling lost and at a crossroads in my life to hopefully, eventually, being found. If you have ever felt like you needed a change or pivoting from your current experience is necessary, but you just don't know how, join me. Wanderers are always welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to What Now, a podcast for lost and found. This is your host, Amanda. I am so excited to bring you on to some great content coming up this week and next. We have interviewed our good friend, Judah Lando, again and brought him back on the show. He and I spent a hilarious 3 hours together, and it's a doozy, but it's so much fun. We catch up with him and learn all about his two most recent shows, that his bodybuilding shows that occurred at the end of this year in 2024, his goals for the next year, his dream projects that he wants to work on, his possible expansion into lifestyle modeling and fitness modeling, his intentions for training, and his theories on gym hierarchies and social structures and everything in between. So it's a lot of fitness related content, but you mostly get to see lots of good insights into our friendship and learn a little bit more about him and his wisdom as he's about to turn 40 and the lessons he would give to others who might be in his position. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it.
And you know what's crazy though? That plays so perfectly into why we're on here in the first place.
Us messing around?
It's because like after the show, I'm legit like almost lost. But I had to like,
Yeah.
should we be saving this for the show?
I'd press record now. Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
I'll probably have to rearrange the order, like unless you want to do an introduction and we can dive in. But
I don't think that's us.
yeah,
I think that's too formal. That is too NPR.
I know. And I do some close friends have wanted an outline, like they want me to follow a structure so that way they can feel more comfortable because they're not used to this kind of platform. But you've been online publicly for so long that like you're used to being able to just turn the record on and like shoot the breeze for whatever it is you need to say. And I'm getting better at that because I've forced myself to do this podcast. But that's why I sent you a general outline, because I wanted to ask you a bit, like, you're transforming obviously physically and mentally leading up to a show, during a show, and after a show. But is there ever a point where you have to like recreate who Judah is? Because after each show, I feel like you're either shedding an old self or you're creating a new self and like rebuilding whatever it is that you lost in the previous show in between. So I was curious about picking your brain about that, because you just had two very public, successful competitions, and I kind of feel like you're a different Judah than who I interviewed 6 months ago. Even though that was such a short amount of time, it's this particular sport is coming for you every single day. And like that's why I liked that TikTok, and we'll talk about the TikTok too, but that's why I liked that and sent it to you, is like because it doesn't just happen to men, it happens to the women as well. And I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk about shedding of self. So how do you maintain yourself and not get like so deep down in the dumps recomping in the middle of a time when everybody's loading it on, I guess. So there's a lot. There's a lot to cover there. But yeah, welcome back. What's up, bud?
Hey. It's been a long day without you, my friend. But here's the thing. Like, just to answer that question, because that was a very...
That was a lot of questions, but that's...
that was a great question because it touched so many like little trigger points in my brain when you start talking about it. And first, thank you so much for, gracing me with your presence. I am honored to be on this podcast, not once, but twice.
Yeah, so, you were the second most popular guest so far. The other one's my friend Stevie, but mostly because she's,
that's
just
why I wear the tank
loves me, and she's appeasing my desire to try and turn this into a real thing. So she'll come on whenever I ask her to. But I think people have the most fun when they can see my personality, and it's a heavy show. Anyway, the topic is just intense. Being able to admit that you have no idea what's going on in your life or where you want to go with your life, or you're trying to transition and finding your purpose. And that's such a scary thing to live in the dark. It's a great opportunity for me to bring on guests because they can see some levity in my conversation, but also my personality as well. So it helps. I like it. And I like learning from other people too. So
I can only teach what I've gone through, and that's kind of my
yeah.
mission moving forward with everything that I do, whether it be coaching, whether it be like, I'm semi-retired from personal training because I don't like telling grown folks what to do no more. And
Well, yeah, because we talked about that a little bit while you transitioned into
yeah,
the lifestyle coaching. Not you don't do online personal training anymore unless it's like
no,
a
no.
favor or
Personal
something.
training, I've learned it's almost like setting a table. You know what I mean? First, you're gonna put the placemat down. Then you're gonna put the plate down. Then you're gonna put the utensils in their fancy places that you debutantes know where to put them. But it's a process to it all,
Yeah,
and fitness and the actual working out is like putting down the fork and the spoon. You know what I mean? Like cardio is the spoon, fitness is the fork. However you want to put them down,
yeah,
but you missed a couple steps. You didn't put the placemat down. You didn't put the plate down. You
yeah. The
didn't even put the cup
foundation.
down. Yeah, you got to lay the foundation for everything, and that's what I've learned the most over just this whole journey in this process. And this is only year 2 to my 3-year commitment, and I've done a total of 6 shows in 2 years, basically.
Mm-hmm. Is
So it's
yeah.
learning on the fly, and I mean that those are the things that I want to be able to give to the people that I have the privilege of coaching. It's on the job, real life. Like, hey, bro, last week when I came off of my fast, I ate a pizza. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? I I want to be an example because this is going to kind of fuel the other half of my passion, which is reaching back to the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
The younger generation don't care who you used to be, and I've come to understand that about those little, I got a couple words for those, the younger generation, but they don't
Like
care
the
who
young
you
blood.
used to be and
Yeah.
what you used to do. It's about who you are now. And I think I'm doing a good job right now utilizing my patience and just really enjoying the process of, the highs and the lows that come along with life in general. And I mean, they're only exacerbated when it comes down to show prep. So, yeah, working out is the easy stuff. That's the stuff that anybody can go put on a tank top and go to the gym and grunt. It's that morning cardio, that
Yeah.
fasted morning cardio that gets you.
Yeah. 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 No, I think people that are just outside observers, or what is it? The phrase like you can't listen to the people that are sitting on sitting on the sidelines while you're out there. You're going to
Yeah.
listen to the people that are actually in the dirt with you and performing and everything. Because it's really easy to be critical when you're sitting over there, but it's so much harder when you're actually in that space and grinding it out. So I kind of feel like those maybe that younger generation just respects you for what you're doing right now, because that's really all they're focused on is succeeding in the present for what's going on right in front of them. But yeah, let's catch up then a bit about those most recent competitions. If you've done the six shows in 2 years, but you posted 2 recent ones that were in Tennessee, catch us up on
Yeah.
that.
The first one was the NPC state show. And that is always
Okay.
been one of the shows that I love doing because number one, I know the promoter and I've known him for years. I mean, just a cool dude. And at some point, I would like to start promoting my own type of shows. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
getting people. It's kind of something on the lines of summer shredding that they do down in Houston, where people
Yeah.
just do transformations and you just have an opportunity to just show what you do. It's not a competition setting. They do have a competition setting built in, but it's not for that. It's for people who
Yeah.
maybe you've lost 200 pounds and you aren't ripped, but you definitely want to show that progress. And I'm all about uplifting people. So that's something that I want to do as a promoter moving forward. So
Yeah.
once again, I did the state show because I respect the promoter, and you also get the tag of Mr. Tennessee if you win the overall. And I
Mhm.
think in order to like on the journey towards becoming pro
Yeah.
and just bringing people in on the journey, I want them to say, man, I watched Judah first become Mr. Tennessee. I watched him get his pro card. I watched him win a pro show. I watched him on the Olympia stage. You know what I mean? I want people to grow with me as I go through this journey. So the state show is always kind of a part of the plan. And I have to keep telling myself that, Judah, you gave yourself a 3-year commitment. Stop expecting 3 years of work in only 2 years. Well, 3 years of progress in only 2 years of work. And that's where we talk about those highs and lows, ups and downs when it comes down to bodybuilding, because like you want to go in and win. No one wants to jump on the stage and like get pushed to the back and say, hey, you look terrible. No one wants that feedback because it's so much that goes into it. Money, time, all that good stuff. But this show, unfortunately, I came in second place in Classic Physique. And Classic Physique is kind of where I see myself as a pro. Once I become pro, I can do Classic Physique because in the pro ranks, the weight cutoff for Classic Physique is 185.
Yeah.
And well, that's for my particular height.
Right. And that's your usual sweet spot where you're posting about it.
Exactly.
Like you usually talk about, I need to be 185 to 175, depending on what's going on during the year. So you talk about that range a lot. Okay.
So I'm so glad that you just even brought that up, because I want you to put a pin in that.
Okay.
And we're gonna come back to that of ways of maintaining that mindset, because that is one of those things, creating a body set weight. And I listen to a lot of Dr. Jason Fong with, like, he is the master of the obesity code, cracking body fat code. So we can come back to that.
Yeah.
But I see myself in Classic Physique moving into the pro ranks because I just have a thicker build, but I'm short. So, and my body is fairly filled out. I still have a lot more work to fill out a couple places in my body. And I mean, so just being able to know where my weight is at all times. And like, bodybuilding has so many different categories. And the three main categories that I compete in is men's physique. That's the guys with the board shorts on. Classic physique. That's Chris Bumstead. I'm just Chris Bumstead. I don't even have to explain the division. Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
And then you have Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, he came to the gym and stuff. Yeah, he was. Did you go that day for like the official like opener or whatever at Carbon?
First of all, what I'm never gonna be is a fanboy. I'm a fanboy. Whoa.
Your idol. Your idol was at the gym.
Whoa. Let's put it to you like this. I am an undercover fanboy.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not a public fanboy, meaning I'm not going to stand in a line for 2 hours to meet a man.
One man.
Like, this dude's line was wrapped around the corner. People stood in that line for 2 hours to meet Chris Bumstead. Like, that's the impact that I want to have on bodybuilding in some type of capacity, because that's a platform where, when we're talking about making change and when we're talking about being the beacons for perspective, that platform right there goes a long way. My man's got more following than Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. So when I talk about competing in Classic Physique, obviously that is the category that most people are drawn to. So I want to make sure that I'm always, kind of throughout these 3 years, I want to do a good job of competing evenly through the 3 different divisions: men's physique, Classic Physique, and bodybuilding. So in the first show of this season was the state show, and I did Classic Physique and men's physique. Classic Physique, once again, is the Bumstead, and I had only competed in Classic Physique one other time in my whole career. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Because I've never been able to make the weight cap. I've always just been a thick dude. Like, I've just been thick, so I've always had to do bodybuilding. But now, when they create something like a classic physique, which I think I'm more of a classic physique, I'm not your Ronnie. I'm never gonna be Ronnie Coleman. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna be Jay Cutler.
It's just not not in your genetics.
No, and it's not in my budget because ain't nobody trying to buy drugs. You know what I mean?
Nobody in this corner of the world is this corner
Ain't
of the
nobody
internet.
else. Look,
yeah.
When people ask me, Judah, are you on steroids? Girl, I can't afford steroids. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, I'm good. Look, what you see is what you get. This chicken and coffee.
Chicken and coffee. Oh my Lord.
That's the flavor of my new protein, chicken and coffee.
Oh God. I mean, I can understand like fried chicken and waffles where it's like kind of savory, kind of salty, kind of cinnamon or something, where you get a protein shake or something.
As a bodybuilder,
I'd drink that every day.
Thank you.
If it tasted like chicken and waffles, if it tricked me into not feeling so bad that I can't actually eat this right now. Yeah.
What I've learned as a competitive bodybuilder, a focused competitive bodybuilder, as long as it gets down.
Well, yeah.
I don't need, like, Amanda, you don't want me cooking for you right now, girl.
I'm sure it's plain and normal.
I don't season nothing. You hear me?
Why?
What's the point? It's a waste of time. It's going down. It's going down the gullet. You feel me? Like,
that's so sad.
It's
bland.
But
you might as well put a cheeseburger in a blender and just spin it and add unflavored protein to it.
I mean, at that point, if I was in a time crunch.
Yeah.
But I don't do the bread because of the gluten. So, but we'll talk about all that later. But anyways.
Okay, so you end up placing second at the state show.
I placed second in classic, and it was a great eye-opening for me because the reason that you should compete a lot, well, I won't say a lot, you should compete frequently, is because you get to see what the competition is. You get to compare yourself with other people and seeing how they're putting their physiques together. And if this guy beat me, what did he have that I didn't have? You know what I mean? So,
well, I think that's a good perspective. If you don't get the result you wanted, I think that's the right positive outlook to have on the experience. But I do wonder though, how sustainable is it to compete as often as you have? Because I feel like 6 shows in 2 years probably sounds average for like the professional competitor, but for a brand new person, that's a pretty demanding schedule on your body to stay like stage ready 3 times a year if you're new to it, right? Or no?
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, I started bodybuilding in 2011.
Yeah, you've been doing it a long time. You've got a great foundation, but a brand new person may not. But
I'm a hybrid. So think about it. I started in 2011, took 6 years off, and now it's almost like I'm brand new again. Because I'm only 2 years into this kind of reboot, Judah 4.0.
4.0. So, okay, I was wondering. I was like, what number are we at? What version is it?
Yeah, I'm at 4.0 because I'm turning 40 in March.
Oh,
so Judah 4.0.
Yeah. Look at you knowing numbers.
So once again, I need to really, that's the reason I've honed in and focused so much, because that is the demanding schedule with your time, your budget, and your body. And I know you watch me on Instagram, my recovery is at the top of my list. Like, when I get into the gym, and I was telling the guy at the gym just yesterday, he's like, man, what time did you get here? I was like, I got here about 3. And he looked up at the clock. He was like, oh, okay, you only been here for an hour. What have you done? I was like, what you see me doing right now? And I was on the floor rolling.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it never dawned on me, because my, warm up, my foam rolling, my stretching, and all that low back work, all that stuff started out being 5 minutes before my workout. I told myself I'm just going to do 5 minutes before my workout, get myself warm, and then go into the workout. That has progressed into an hour now.
Mm-hmm.
Is because that's how important that it became. So recovery, the maintenance phase is something that I would love to get people to understand. Once again, when we're setting that table, like I don't care about the workout. I don't care about the actual physical reps. I care about, are you prepared for the reps?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to recover from the reps? How are these reps going to facilitate the growth process that recovery provides?
It sounds like that you've made it to this level to have the ability to compete multiple times a year because of the in between time on the shows and the prep leading up to the shows. You are prioritizing recovery versus when you were younger, maybe you didn't as much. And that seems to have made the biggest change in your performance because you're right. As you get older, it gets harder and harder on your body to do these types of things. And even though weightlifting has become very mainstream and it's clear that it does help people, men and women, maintain their muscle mass and their bone density and their longevity, the recovery part's just as important, if not more so, to be able to continue to perform.
My interview questions that I got is, what was my idea of fitness?
Yeah.
And I've been able to sum what I feel in my mind as fitness into one word now through this journey thus far, and it's longevity. That's it. It's longevity. To look back and say I had the physical tools, the energy
Mm-hmm.
in 2011 to do my first show that I knew absolutely nothing about bodybuilding. You know what I mean? I just showed up, was like, where do I go? I got my underwear. Where do I go? From that to being able to travel and compete. You know what I mean? Like that's a big, body of work when it comes to experience in bodybuilding. And through all of that, I've just learned that at the end of the day, it's how I put to you like this: a fresh body is a beautiful body. When you recover right, when you sleep right, when you eat right, you just look fresh. And it's a youthfulness to you. Trust me,
Yeah.
I don't look 40. And it might be people out there going, well, he over there tooting his own horn, talking about he don't look. No, I don't look 40 because some of the people, preferably female in the gym, think that I'm 30. So that's what matters. And it's a
Which,
byproduct of
no,
being
yeah,
able to
but you take
keep
care of
yourself
yourself.
fresh.
Yeah.
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 Longevity.
You're not aging like that because you're fueling your body in a way for your cellular turnover to be efficient and not clog.
Whoa. No, hey, this
Hey,
is
hey.
this show can be listened to by younger audiences. When you start talking like that, you getting into that you know how that do me, girl. Cellular turnover. Oh, don't you talk to me. Don't you talk to me dirty like that.
Ooh, are you saying science words?
Oh,
Is this how
girl,
facts and
shoot.
shit? Yes, you're welcome, internet. I I might have a master's in terrorism, but it doesn't mean I don't understand metabolism.
You know what? Body fat is terrorism.
Body fat is terrorism.
One of my other passions is, well, first off, diabetes prevention and obesity.
Uh,
When I put my comic book out, it's
yeah,
gonna be Judah versus obesity and diabetes. Like my goal, I think I was put on this earth to fight it. And I look at this mindset as a terrorist cell inside of the way our bodies were programmed. And body fat is just one of those things that anything negative, any sickness, any diseases, whatever negative comes with your body, I
yeah,
guarantee body fat and sugar are contributors somewhere in that process.
sure. But we're talking about when it's set to an excessive level or to a uber minimized level, right? Where you don't have enough body fat to sustain your needs, but you're also on the other spectrum where it's too much body fat that your organs can't function, which I think is two different things. Because like having a healthy amount is what you're supposed to have. Your body's supposed to be able to regulate heat and regulate energy for you. But when you either take too much away or you add too much, your body has to figure out how to function in that new environment, and sometimes it can be very detrimental for long term.
Well, it's like having a confused animal in a cage. Like we don't, our bodies are programmed, they've been programmed for hundreds of thousands of years to do specific tasks. In 200 short years, we have eliminated most of our body's abilities to do the task that it was designed to do. Think about it. You didn't eat every day back in the Stone Age. You never in your body's history were able to sit and just eat mindlessly. If we are eating, that means, first off, we just chased down this buffalo. So we kind of tired. But we still have enough energy to skin it, cook it, eat it, prepare. Everything goes to use.
Yeah.
Right now, we eat chips and throw the bag in the trash. So what we've done is we've put in a virus of obesity thought process into a program that doesn't know how to deal with it. So our bodies are just like confused all the time. 1 minute you're doing nothing, and then next minute you're running 5 miles. It's like, what are we doing? So learning that balance, you know what I mean? Like just getting our bodies, I always say hitting the reset button. And what I've learned at this age that I'm at right now, you're never too old to hit the reset button. It's up to you mentally to get yourself there. And bodybuilding just so happens to be a sport, because I truly believe everybody needs to stay competitive at certain degrees in their lives. If you're not competitive, if you just want to sit on the sidelines your whole life, get ready to be treated unfairly. Truth, right? Like,
I don't know, because I don't compete, so I'm not sure. I haven't trained with a goal like that since my in 10 years, like the early 20s and stuff, and like but that was also way back before I started taking my scoliosis and stuff seriously, or like fully understanding what it meant to do what I wanted to do physically, and like how to train with that in mind, because I don't think I was doing it right back then, and like was exacerbating myself trying to do too many things at once. And so like if I were to try and get back into that, like I would feel like I'm starting straight up from scratch again. Like I know how to meal prep in mass. Like I did it before, I could easily do it again, but like if I were to really start all the way over, I'd be like, I'm just going to pick up Judah every day. Like, I just need you to be with me the 5 days a week. Cause like, I know that the professionals have the ability to get up and go to the gym and do it for themselves, because they get paid to do that. Like, they're able to dedicate their day to that. Like, for me, somebody that's working full time somewhere else and doing the podcast, kind of like, I would need somebody to hold my feet to the fire, just because I would feel more pushed. And like the last time when we worked out, like I was lifting more weight than I thought I could actually lift in reality.
Yeah.
Because when I would go by myself, I'd be like, oh, well, I did it. I did the 12 reps for 3 or 4 sets, and like, I'll move on to the next thing. It's like, you could have done a 4th set with twice that weight if you had pushed yourself, but you didn't know that because you were too worried about it or in your head about it or whatever. So like, I want to say that I can relate to you just because we've had this fitness friendship for, over a decade now, but like I would feel a little bit like a fraud since I've never actually stepped up on stage and like been in that same kind of scenario.
Okay. Let's put it to you like this. And this is a new concept that I'm working on.
Okay.
It's called lifestyle bodybuilding. See, what I think is, and another reason that I'm so passionate about bodybuilding and learning all the nuances of bodybuilding is because I want to create a simpler explanation to give people when speaking on what I do personally. I'm a competitive bodybuilder, meaning that I do the necessary things to compete in the show.
Yeah.
You're a lifestyle bodybuilder. A lifestyle bodybuilder is an individual who wants a particular physique or level of fitness, but also has to juggle and balance everyday life. You're not competing, but
Yeah.
you definitely want that shape. And so with lifestyle bodybuilding, what I've been able to do is take that concept of being a competitive bodybuilder and simplifying it to a place where I can now apply it to a person who, like yourself, being able to achieve the desired physique. Because I tell you this, and I'm gonna get a little closer to my mic.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn it up a little bit because I want the world to hear this one.
Oh yeah. Are we whispering or we're just?
No, this is just like deep.
Right.
There's no greater feeling than to look in the mirror and love what you see.
That is not an everyday feeling for a lot of people.
And it took me going through all the failures. It took me having to sacrifice things. It took me all of just losing stuff, losing people, losing stuff, to realize that what I appreciate about myself, it's not what others like. People are going to talk you up. People are going to give you your flowers, telling you that you're so inspirational and you're so this, you're so that. But that's all well and good to hear. But when you are looking in that mirror, or when
Yeah.
you get on that stage and that judge tells you, hey, you're in first place. There's no greater feel. Money can't buy it. So that's where my outlook now is. I thought that I needed money for everything. You know what I mean? I thought that I needed fame for everything. When you commit to your purpose, which
Yeah.
you have done, you said that I'm going to start a podcast, Judah.
Oh.
No, we're not talking
That.
about, we ain't even talking about physical right now, because I need you to understand life and then take life and structure your fitness. The same way that you built this podcast, which you don't understand what you're doing. You're, like I just told you, you're a competitor, just not in bodybuilding. The market for podcasting is astronomical right now. Everybody's podcasting. Like, you're in competition. You might not think that you are, but you are. That's human. That's being human. Being human is to accept a challenge. That's how we become better. That's how we grow. Without resistance, growth cannot occur. So when I look at you from a success standpoint, yeah, you might say, well, I'm not here physically because, no, I'm looking at you as an individual. Like, remember, this is lifestyle. This is longevity. This is how you are seeing yourself moving forward, and you're willing to put in the work. You're willing to put in the time. You're willing to take the failures. You're willing to take the emotional roller coaster that this involves. So I just do it with competitive bodybuilding, but I'm still a coach.
Right.
You want the physique, but you're still doing your podcast. My thing is with lifestyle bodybuilding, I
Yeah.
want to show people that that is possible. It's just you gotta do a little trimming over here. You gotta do a little cutting over here. There's sacrifices that will occur, and once you sign up for it and once you commit to it, that's the hard stuff. That's where the consistency kicks in, because that's where a lot of people just kind of fall off. They can't accept failure, and that's a shame.
I think it's a testament to your resilience, right? That you're able to not beat yourself up so much over when you do fail, or like you do mess up, or like you didn't hit your diet right that week, so when you went in for your lift it just didn't work out, or you went into the gym, intentionally, because you talked about this earlier where you're like, it's not about the number of reps during that workout, it's about the quality of the time spent there.
Absolutely.
So you might have intended to go into the gym for your full hour, like, oh, I'm Judah's client, he gave me this workout, I'm going to go get it done, and for whatever reason you're 3 sets into the first 2 exercises and you're like, I can't get there. I can't. It's not happening. I'm not, whatever it is you're not focused on. But if you did those first ones solid and you only made it 30 minutes, then you made it 30 minutes and you get out. Because that's one thing I've definitely learned as you to use your term, as a lifestyle bodybuilder. If I'm trying to hold myself to the standards of what an athlete is doing, or at least a professional or paid bodybuilder is doing, I'm never going to get there.
Yeah.
because I don't live the same life that they do. And I've talked about this a couple of times on the show, like some solo episodes. Like my 24 hours is not the same as your 24 hours. So if I only get 30 minutes that day to do whatever it is I need to do in the gym, then I utilize that 30 minutes. If I'm lucky and I get the hour and a half, then I take my hour and a half and I do as best as I possibly can. But the goal is to be, I think, to consistently show up for yourself. And then if you're able to get to a point where you could compete, actually, if your goal is to eventually be on a stage, now you understand a little bit more about the nuances of like,
Now you can take the
I'm at this
next
level.
step.
In order to take it to the next level, I have to sacrifice a bunch of other stuff to get to that level because that is what they are doing every single day. But like getting to a point where you could love your body or being able to look at a body in the mirror and be like, wow, I did that. It's so much more attainable than people believe. But if you're picking people like professional bodybuilders to compare yourself to,
Exactly.
is not going to be the same. Like you need to go look, and if you're a lifestyler like me, go and look at other lifestylers and be like, okay, how do I get to this format, or how do I do that? Which is why some of the personal trainers that I follow online, they speak to those types of women, or they speak to that particular type of audience. Like, yes, we might have been former D1 athletes, or yes, we might be former bikini pros, but like we don't live that life anymore. So these are the lifestyle workouts that we're doing to try and give you functional longevity. And this is why my clients do so well on these programs. It's because it's catered to what is their actual reality? What does their actual 24 hours look like? And let me build you the program that's going to make you succeed, or at least help you succeed, because it's manageable and not outlandish. Like it's respectful to your actual goals. But they've talked about that before too. Like eventually if I have a client that wants to progress, then I tell them, okay, it's going to be this much effort, this much cost, this much whatever, and then you can decide. But that's definitely the trickiest part over the last 10 years, like me learning to not compare my body to the body that I used to want or used to think was a good idea or whatever 10, 15 years ago. And it's interesting. And I don't know, because like there's plenty of women I'm sure you've seen at the shows that are like in their 40s that compete, like that get on
And they
stage
look amazing.
and they look amazing. And that's the cool thing I've learned about bodybuilding as well, is that it's not necessarily an age limitation either. Like they have,
That's why I'm in this sport.
there's,
Because
yeah, they divide you by height and, height and weight,
70s,
obviously, but
you
then,
got 70 plus people in the
yeah,
masters
yeah,
division.
yeah, yeah. So like that's another reason I guess why I'm not afraid that I haven't done it in 10 years, is just because it's like, it's not going anywhere. If I really want to do it again someday, I can do it. I've seen myself like get 3 months out from it after working out for the year and like getting 3 months out from the show and having to walk away. So like I've seen myself get so close, and I don't doubt that I could do it again. It's just me making that actual decision. Like, all right, mentally, I'm going to be willing to do this right now. Physically, I'm going to be willing to do this right now. Financially, I'm going to be willing to do this right now. And right now, I'm not. So
So
that's the reality.
this is a great part of getting you to understand it.
Okay.
So what I've learned with lifestyle bodybuilding
Mm-hmm.
is to understand what it is that I need.
Yeah.
And see, just learning that takes a crap ton of humility and patience. Once you learn what you need and you start to kind of put that into your routine, that's why routines are they're so important, is because what you put into your routine is tried and true methods that work for you. So what I've done for my lifestyle bodybuilding is I know what foods work for me. I know what foods that don't give me gas. I know foods that give me the highest amount of protein. I know the foods that help me sleep at night. I know the
Yeah.
foods that keep my insulin levels low, my sugar levels low, because people don't understand. And we're going to have another talk about this, lengthy. I'm a diabetic, and a lot of people don't know that about me. And I've got family history of diabetes and heart disease. And so that was kind of like some of the things that I had to overcome before I can get my body going in a way that I can manipulate it the way I need to manipulate it. What I did was I figured out, what do I need to do to be healthy first? What vitamins, what foods do, like I have to have avocados, period. Like
Yeah.
avocados will forever be a staple in my diet. I don't care if I'm on vacation. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm gonna eat 4 eggs, avocados, and spinach. I can get that from anywhere. Every restaurant you go to, you can say, "Hey, can I get an omelet, 4 eggs, spinach, and an avocado?" You can probably get. I'm the only one place I'm going is First Watch, anyways. So they're definitely gonna have that.
Yeah.
So that's a part of my lifestyle now. You see what I'm saying? That's my breakfast. And I can eat that breakfast for the rest of my life because I know all the things that I'm eating are contributing to my health, not just my physique, my overall health. I'm always keeping longevity in the forefront of every decision that I make. So now imagine if my meals are, I'm keeping muscle, I feel good. Now, when it's time to compete, all I got to do now is, okay, cut back. Instead of doing a whole cup of rice when you get in prep, just cut half it. Keep your protein exactly where it is
Yeah.
because you're already eating your eggs. You're already like my diet is what I eat anyway. I enjoy. And see, that's the thing that I try to get people to understand is like you can
Yeah.
trick your brain into enjoying what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just so programmed to always look at the negative side of everything.
Yeah.
Like I only focus on the positive sides of everything in prep. I don't think about like last year I broke out into a full body rash. I got pictures from me on the stage where I am
This
I'm
is from
cooked
stress or from something else.
from it all.
Yeah.
Think about the stress, the travel. Oh, just I was pushing so hard and my body just like after last year, after this, the season last year, I had to take 7 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
I took 7 weeks out of the gym. I didn't touch a weight for 7 weeks just to get my body to calm itself down and repair.
Yeah. Smart.
And I told myself I'll never do that again. But now I'm learning just even in the off season. First off, there's no such thing as an off season. There is my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's my life. It's
Yeah.
my lifestyle. My lifestyle is longevity and having a great physique. So now
Mm-hmm.
every time, hey Judah, what do you want to eat? Well, where can I go? And every now and then, I have the opportunity to eat something off the beaten path. Cool. I don't limit myself
Right.
because I'm on 90% of the time. 10% of the time ain't gonna kill me. But in prep, it might. So that's how I kind of everything is compartmentalized.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing for the next 5 months. This is what I'm doing for the next 4 months. And I kind of set myself in these motions. And so as a lifestyle bodybuilder, you learn, okay, it's time to turn up the dial. Okay, I could turn it down for these next 3 months. Okay, I'm going to gradually turn it back up as I get closer to the show. That's how we have to adjust. So that's going to help you lead yourself into competitive bodybuilding. When you know the basics of what you're doing, imagine walking up to a coach, and any coach would take you at this point.
Yeah.
Here's my diet. Here's what time I wake up. Here's how
Right.
much water I drink. Here's like if you walked up to a coach and gave them everything laid out on the platter, your coach is like, yeah, oh, you got to win.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do now is like you. This is a t-shirt opportunity. You got to DJ your lifestyle.
What?
Sometimes you got to DJ your lifestyle.
What's that
Sometimes it's
mean?
too much bass. Bring the bass down. Bring up the treble. Fade it this way. Like there's so many little tweaks that you have to
Oh.
make to keep the constant sound
Mm-hmm.
and to keep that lifestyle that you want. And a lot of people think that they could just kind of set themselves on autopilot and go, well, for right now, I don't care what I eat. I just don't care right now. Well, you're gonna care when you have to go into a cut and you realize, like me, that the body fat on my booty is way tougher than the body fat on my shoulders. And it don't want to go nowhere. It don't want to be evicted.
Yeah.
Like 2 years it's taking me to slowly burn body fat off my butt. It's it's a byproduct of that time that I took off when I was reckless with my diet. Like it's coming back to haunt me now. And I don't think people think of that.
Are you talking about that 7-week break or the 6-year break?
The 6-year break, where copious amounts of alcohol. The guy from Papa John's knew my name. He's like, "What's up, Judah? Hey, do you want to try our special?" Like I'll just call in and he'd be like, "What's up, Judah? How you doing, bro? Hey, we got a new special. You want 2 pizzas and some wings today? I can get it to you for $14." I'm having this conversation with the Papa John's dude every week.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think all that's going?
Yeah,
to the storage.
In the trunk.
In that wagon we dragging. You know what I mean?
I mean, some people like that though, Judah. Didn't you want them girls to think you were 30 with a cute butt?
Not when I'm on stage and I turn around and look like I ain't trying to look like Megan Thee Stallion up there. I'm trying to be.
I would. Hell yeah.
No, that's not bodybuilding.
No, I know.
But it's just it put things in perspective for me because that is a direct reflection of that time that I took off to accumulate that. Like body fat don't come on overnight.
No, yeah.
You know, that's years of your body's misregulation of energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just putting it in the storage. So over those 6 years, yeah, I still had the muscle that I built through that first, phase of my bodybuilding journey. But look at what 6 years did to my body. And now I'm still trying to dig out all that muscle and add new muscle. So I'm in a very flux situation, but I understand what's needed and what I have to do to be the best bodybuilder that I could be. And so once again, my competitive bodybuilding life and my normal lifestyle are very close. They're not the same. They're very close to one another because I've come to realize that with everything, there's a balance.
Yeah.
Even with just getting on this podcast with you, like you're my inspiration.
Well, you're very sweet.
I inspire to do what you're doing, and the way that you do it, man, you're consistent with it. You're thoughtful. You created show notes for me to read over, and I was reading them and checking off some stuff. I'm like, I don't want to disappoint Amanda because I know what work she has put in to get this podcast rolling, and I want to be at my best to give her flowers. It's the same concept. I see what you're doing and I appreciate it. You see what I'm doing and you appreciate it. Now me and you need to learn from each other. You want to compete one day, I'm competing. I want to podcast, you podcast.
Yeah.
But think about how simple, like when you sit back and you go, Judah, it's pretty simple. And with bodybuilding, I'm like, it's pretty simple. It is. It's pretty simple, but it's hard.
Learning the techniques, the consistency aspect of setting a goal for yourself like that is the biggest deal. And I also don't do like pushed or paid ads or anything like that. So like I haven't really tried to boost the following. Everything I'm doing right now is just organic, and when I can get to it, I get to it kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes. But I think anything.
Career.
Well, I think anything like the way you've been talking about it, it's taken you almost 2 decades. And like you've been working on this and working on this and working on this. And like I don't think a lot of people fully understand, like at least in the society, we're expecting instant gratification all the time. We've got a computer that fits in the palm of our hands. We've got Google that tells us answers immediately. We've got AI that can replicate any type of digital conversation that we want recreated, or communication recreated. It's very, very quick. But to set a goal for yourself and actually finally achieve it takes repetition, and repetition is going to lead to success for that thing. And it's a slow process. And competitive bodybuilding in particular, especially because you hear some stories where like somebody was a novice and they went on their very first show for their first years and ended up getting pro within that year or second year. And you're like, geez. And then you find out some of the other competitors have been doing it for decades ish, and they still haven't won it, even though they're world famous as a competitor or whatever. But it just is really, really hard for, I think, people to fully understand sometimes what the effort that it took for somebody to turn their business into a success. You only find out about the successful thing later when they become popular or well known or whatever, and it's like, oh well, they've actually been in the industry for X amount of time, X amount of years. They put in X amount of work. So I do appreciate you saying it, but I think one of the things I need to work on in therapy is accepting a compliment when I don't believe it. Sometimes, because like I don't feel like I've done exactly like you said. There's hundreds of thousands of podcasts now. Everybody and their mom has been getting on it and doing it, especially after COVID. So I don't know that I've necessarily had the impact that I would like to believe that I've had, but or will have someday. But I want to keep trying, at least. I'd like to see what I can do with this. And if I ever gain enough knowledge where I feel like I could share it for other people, I will. Gladly will. But podcasting is definitely not for the faint of heart. For somebody like me who has no background in video production, audio, editing, none of that jazz, like I'm not an influencer, so I'm not making reels constantly or using any of the software or the higher end digital cameras. Like I'm making it up on the fly. I'm editing on the fly. I'm learning on the fly. So
Well, I'm gonna be real with you.
Very sweet that you say all that.
The first producer that I'm going to hire is going to be you.
Oh my gosh.
So take that for what you want to take. That's a testament to what I see.
That is the end of part 1 for our interview with Judah. Tune in the next couple of days, next week, and check out part 2. And part 3 will be coming soon afterwards. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a review, 5 stars, share with your friends, let your aunties, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, grandma, grandpas, good friends that are into fitness, good friends that just need a laugh, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, anybody that you think could enjoy this show, anyone that might be going through a tough transition right now that could use some insight or at least levity. Maybe they can laugh at my situation in life and feel a little bit better about their own if they were to listen. But please feel free to share. Always leave us a review. I love getting feedback and hearing from each and every one of you. You can find me at askwhatnowpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. I will make sure that all of our contact information is added to the show notes. And you can leave comments directly on Spotify and 5-star reviews on Apple. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy. See you in part 2 and part 3.